Hi everyone, I'm Ken, and this is my mentally and emotionally challenged talking mate, Swarty.
That's right. I am mentally challenged. Thank you for bringing that to the world.
No problem.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what,
they know already. If they've seen the podcast, they know.
and that's what the doctor said to my mom when I was born. It was like, what is this?
When you were born, the doctor slapped your mom. Not
Yeah,
you?
pretty much. Yeah, that's right.
No. Yeah.
Well,
So what are we talking about today, Swarty?
I figured we've been off for a couple months over the summer. It feels like a couple months, might have only been a month. Um, we are the X-ers podcast. We're the podcast for the generations, and the episode today is the X-ers. It's welcome to the data center era. See what I did there? I used the screen behind me.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, because people might not think that we're professional, but we are.
If you're professionally, Steve would have just pointed. Like a weatherman, you just kind
of. But they
we
know.
just don't have a prompter in front of us.
They know they have a green screen and they can see everything that they're doing, but it's all reverse, right?
Sure.
They're good at that. So
Yeah.
we're not. Have you ever been into a studio with a green screen?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. So anyway, artificial intelligence is everywhere right now. It's like writing, creating images, helping businesses, and changing how we work, right? So, but behind every AI conversation is something that most people never see, and that's like massive buildings filled with thousands of computers called data centers.
Mm-hmm. Well, data centers have been around since the invention of the computer.
Well,
right? So if you think about the original hard drive,
yeah.
Right? The original hard drive was the size of a small room.
I guess so, yeah.
Right? So they've always had data centers, and it's kind of overlapping where, where technology was old, you have these massive data centers.
Right.
And as technology gets more and more, what you end up having is smaller computers, but more requiring for more compute.
Right. So you need these data centers to do all the stuff that those things used to do in that smaller room of like whatever, wherever you were, like business or whatever, right? So
I mean, I studied coding 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Just it was a little while after the Codex cards. You ever seen those?
No.
Where a computer program was actually a series of cards with holes punched in it.
Oh, okay. I do remember those.
Feed
Yeah.
those into a giant machine the size of this room to get an output. Right? So it was nothing like you have now. There was no monitors or anything like that. It would just process an equation and give you an answer.
That's cool.
If you got it right.
Right.
If you punched your holes exactly right.
Also giggity. So these facilities are becoming the factories of the future. So people are calling them.
I mean, the factories, the studios, they're just taking over everything.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that'll be our next episode, right? We're going to talk about AI in the next one, but for now, let's stick to data centers.
Yeah, because this is like a very lengthy topic with a lot of ins and outs.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to educate you and educate ourselves at the same time.
So what exactly is a data center, Swarty?
Okay, so a data center is basically a physical building that houses thousands of computers used by organizations to store, process, and disseminate, right?
Yes.
Yes, I got it. Large amounts of data designed to store and process and deliver information.
That's right. And then, I think to understand the size of a data center, right, you got to understand there's different data centers. So technically like a school or something like that, or even a branch office would have its own kind of data center, right? And something like that might have, 100 to 200 servers.
Oh, wow.
Which you think is pretty big, right?
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, they come in racks, so you can rack them up,
Yep.
30 high or something like that. So you might have 10 racks or one rack, depending on the size of the small business.
Yep.
Right? For something like a bank or an airline, you're talking about 500 to 5,000 servers. Right? And then, a company that would sell like data center usage, like server space in it, you're talking 5,000 to 50,000 computers.
Okay.
But when you talk about something like AWS, Google, Microsoft, the big boys, right? We're talking 50,000 to 200,000 computers. Like these are big buildings. It's not something that's going to fit in your backyard. Mm-hmm. It's a massive, massive building.
Well, right? Even I used to work for the local telecom. Believe it or not, I don't think I ever told you this, but we had a server room, right? So we had a huge ass server room in there for that small build. Like it was basically the whole building was server room, and then you had some offices and stuff like that. So, but it was pretty cool being in there, like not literally, but I mean. Yeah. Everything has to be cool, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see, right? So
it's a lot of heat, right? Computers run on electricity.
Yep.
Right? Through metal, so it's going to cause heat. So obviously you've got your servers, You've got your networking wires to transfer the information, and then you've got your cooling systems. Otherwise, it's all just going to burn down.
That makes sense. So, a simple analogy, let's say all the world's computing is a car. The services would be the engine, the transmission and the wheels would be the networking equipment, and the radiator would be the cooling system. I guess we kind of got that in the...
No, it's a pretty simple way to put it, right? And again, talking about physical size, depending on the size, right? So, just back to the size, when we talk about, the smaller ones, when we talk about the schools, that might be the size of a single home.
Right.
Right. When you're talking about the big boys, the Googles, it's going to be 1 million square feet.
Right.
Right. Which is absolutely massive. And to put that in perspective, that's 21 football fields.
Hundreds of acres, pretty much.
Hundreds of acres. Yeah. It's the entire size of Vatican City.
Wow. I don't even know how big that is.
It's pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Roughly 4 to 5 city blocks.
Okay.
Right. I mean, cities vary, so you got to kind of take an average. But you think about a city block, 4 to 5. That's absolutely massive. Right? Just for one building to store computers. And it's filled with computers. So imagine the amount of heat that's generating.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild if you think about it.
So it is. And then, power consumption, that's another one.
Yeah, so powering larger data centers require like an immense amount of power for something like a modem. Modern. So for something like a modern Google or AWS, you explain that. Yeah, that's smart.
Right, and then the next generation, the AI data centers, like those big AI data centers that they're starting to build, 720 million kilowatts an hour. Right, for perspective, the average uses about 900 kilowatts a month. The average house uses about 900 kilowatts a month. Right, and we're talking 720 million for these data centers. An AI center usually would be the equivalent of 800,000 homes. Right. So you think that, that's a city.
That is, yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And in terms you'd understand, that's about 240 billion pocket pussies.
There you go. Wow, that's a lot of pocket pussies.
Isn't it? It's, it's just got to be at least 30 for everyone in the world.
Right? I like how that was relatable.
I figured you'd be able to get that, right? But then you think about the cost of this stuff, right? So to power one of these big AI data centers, for power, $72 million a month.
That's really crazy.
Isn't that insane?
So all that porn you look up, there's a price to it.
Exactly. Pornhub's in there, right? It costs money.
Yeah, so segment 2, how much of the world runs on data centers? So the short answer is about almost the entire world relies on data centers to function. Almost every critical pillar of modern society, from the food that we eat to the money that we spend, is
actively orchestrated. Yeah, by data centers, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, I need to learn how to read. So all your spending transactions, the majority of your health care records, live patient monitoring and medical imaging, all modern communications, cell phones, messaging apps, emails, video calls, entertainment like TikTok, Facebook, online video games, and streaming apps, navigation from small warehouse robots to giant tankers to modern aircraft and rockets.
Yeah, everything's going through data centers, right?
I didn't even understand all the computing power that all that stuff takes. So
yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think people don't really understand too. Even just your basic computer, like you're reading off a laptop right now.
Yeah.
That thing's in millions of computes per second, right? Just to figure out what time it is, just to display the stuff on the screen, just basic stuff, millions of computes per second, just to do the basics.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Right. And I think most people don't realize how dependent we are on data centers. Right. If the world's data centers stopped working, like one of the bigger ones, we'd come to a standstill. Right? The majority of the traffic runs on AWS, on Microsoft, on Google Clouds.
Right.
If just one of their data centers goes down, it could take down banks, airlines, government portals, smart home devices worldwide.
Well, that's happened before, because even here in town, we've had instances where the ATMs aren't working, and all of a sudden there's a lineup outside of the bank. Or, oh my God, Facebook is down, or Instagram is down.
I don't think Facebook's ever been down.
Yeah, it has been.
Has it?
Yeah, even in our area, it's been down, I swear.
I think the bank one was a patch.
So
someone put a patch in their software and it broke everything.
So it wasn't a data center issue?
No, it wasn't a data center issue.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I do recall Facebook and Instagram being down for an entire day, or it was an entire day. And it was on every news organization. It was front page news because everyone was freaking out. It's
mass panic, right? People can't get their social media. What are they going to do if they can't stare at their phone?
Yeah, well, that's true. And also, I think it was WhatsApp as well. So
Really, that's Microsoft, right?
yeah, so
No, not
it's
Microsoft. That's Facebook.
yeah, so it's and I know places like India and uh, oh, not third world, but like um, India and what's the word I'm looking for? Asia. They use WhatsApp a lot. So I mean, way more than we do. So it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so, like, how many data centers do you think there are?
I'm pretty sure, because I was privy to the research phase of this, I'm pretty sure there's a big difference between Canada and the U.S.
Definitely. But worldwide, right, there's what, about 12,000 data centers worldwide,
Okay.
right? They consume about 2% of the world's power.
Right.
Which is pretty significant for one thing. I mean, honestly, you know what? I didn't look up other stats about what are the biggest groupings of power consumption. I imagine homeowners, businesses, there's a high portion, but for data centers alone, 2% of the world power, that's
Really?
significant, right?
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
then
crazy.
in the next 4 years, that's going to double, right? So where's all this power going to come from? So as soon as they start sucking the power out of the grid, they need to rebuild the grid.
Yeah.
Right. So 2% is the equivalent of the power consumption of Japan.
Right. Really?
Yep.
So Japan's a pretty sizable
Big
island.
enough, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Big enough islands. Yeah.
Yeah, ish. Islandish.
Islands.
Islands.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What?
Island
I heard
dish.
that. I heard it.
So,
So how many in the U.S.?
quite a few.
You got a number right in front of you. What's that number?
That's 5,400
5,400.
plus.
Plus.
And
because
then,
it's always growing, and you never really know, right?
But my favorite is the Canada number.
What, 330, 340?
Yeah,
we're getting there, right?
Yeah.
But we're a smaller country. I mean, again, you know, we're a tenth of the U.S. population. We don't have a tenth of the data centers.
Right, but we do have the land and like the environment that would house these data centers.
Well, you'd think so, right? For the cooling environment, maybe, you know, further north again. I mean, then again, I don't know how snow is going to react. You know,
right? Yeah, that's right.
You can't just let the breeze in. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you could. They'd figure out a way to filter, keep the moisture out.
Yeah.
But you know, they have liquids like they're doing. I read this article that they're actually cooling some of these servers with liquid that doesn't transmit electricity.
Right.
Which
crazy.
I was like, what liquid doesn't transmit? I really wasn't sure about what kind of. But yeah, pretty nifty stuff. Man.
That's crazy.
But yeah, but when you talk about Canada and you talk about our environment, and you know the northern environment we have, it's cold.
Yep.
Right? Even where we live, it's cold. Not all year round.
No, but we're colder than, say, I don't know, Miami.
Or even Florida. The ocean. I mean, the other thing you see is potentially looking to have them under the water.
Right.
Right, deep in the ocean because it's very cold down there.
I think they already have them.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. That's why they're spying on you right now.
Exactly, right? Yeah, that's why I'm on a no-fly list somewhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Especially the elementary schools.
Yeah, exactly. But the major locations for these data centers are obviously Ontario being the biggest province. Well, pretty well the biggest province, besides Quebec, landmass wise.
Yeah.
And then British Columbia and Alberta. So all the the typical
major economic hubs. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's we have a whole lot of land that we're not using up near the territories. Yeah. I mean, we could.
I wonder how much they're spread out, right? Because in the States they've got 5,400, and they're saying that 25% of them, which is more data centers than are in all of Canada, are in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they call that the data center alley, right? So Silicon Valley's in California, data center alley is in Virginia.
Right. Okay.
Pretty nifty stuff, right?
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to be known for that, because I don't know if we have this in the notes somewhere. If not, I'll just bring it up now. The noise that the data centers make. Is it data or data? Am I saying it wrong?
Either way.
All right. You say potato, I say potato. The noise that the data center makes is significantly more than expected, right? So it's a loud hum. It is pretty wild.
Is it more than a city? I mean, I'm a city boy, right?
Oh no, it's like, okay. So have you ever heard those tree frogs that go zzz?
A cicada, you mean?
Yeah, cicada. Yeah. What tree frogs?
Well, tree frogs. We're in Canada.
Ribbit.
There's a tree and a frog.
Ribbit, bitch. So, but yeah, so those cicadas, the noise that they make with their wings, picture that, but like 100 times. And it's noticeable, and it's causing people to go like
100 times louder than cicada. That'd be definitely nice.
Yeah,
Cicadas are pretty loud. It can't be that loud.
Well, I'll play the video clip that
Did you get it off one of your like right wing
TikTok.
crazy sites?
Yeah, you
there?
got it. Yeah, no, it's on TikTok. It's totally believable.
Totally believable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So there's that.
When a new sound started invading their homes.
That's just a high-pitched drone sound.
I can hear it inside my house, and that's what concerns me.
This is where, as far as our ears can tell, the sound is coming from. Microsoft's project website says that these data centers here behind me on the southern part of the campus will be operational later this year.
So that if you could use the data centers in the more rural areas, but I mean, then they need water and somehow they need power, and then somehow, but they should be using their own power, building their own power plants almost, right? Like for these ones that are hundreds of acres, right?
But then that's going to drive pollution and other pieces, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's otherwise they're going to run off the grid, and some say our grid's out of date, and especially the United States, their grid's out of date too, right? So, and even Texas, their grid is definitely out of date because it's not even connected to they're on their own grid, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about the good side?
The good side. Oh yeah, there is a good side. So
there is a good side?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what these notes are saying.
All
right. So the benefits include construction jobs, but those are only temporary if you think about it. Technology jobs, and I mean, I've heard that these data centers only employ about like maybe max 20 people.
It's going to be a minimal amount of people, right?
Yeah.
Just to maintain the servers and to swap out a server. Minimal stuff,
yeah.
Which eventually is going to be done by robots anyway.
Yeah. So
if Amazon can employ robots to pick an order, then data centers can employ a robot to change servers.
Easily. I mean, that'll be all programmed. It'll be, but I mean, you need power to do that and constant connectivity too, right? So that's a word I learned yesterday. Wow. Yeah. Then there's the tax revenue to the area.
I wonder about tax revenue. You look at someone like Amazon, right? Didn't Jeff Bezos and Amazon, they paid like 1% or no taxes for the last couple of years. Do you know what I mean? So is it really going to generate tax revenue?
If it's not an Amazon data center.
Well, yeah, but I bet you all the other ones probably not.
But I mean, all these communities that are bringing them in, there's obviously going to be some benefit to that, right?
Well, and potentially you'd hope so. But who knows?
Okay, we'll get to the bad side of data centers soon.
Yeah.
But there's a point that we're going to put a pin in for now, because this is why I would not be happy if a data center moving into our area, right? I don't think our council and our people would allow it, because of the negatives outweigh the positives as far as I'm concerned, right? So, and so infrastructure investment, right? So that would
I gotta wonder if it's gonna be limited, right? Because it's really gonna be all about that. So it's gonna be infrastructure to get to the data center,
right?
Not local.
Like a road.
A data center just outside town. They're not fixing my road.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's not gonna benefit me.
No.
If anything, they're gonna suck water out.
Yeah, well, that's going to be part of the negative. Then we'll get to that, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So innovations, data centers help power medical breakthroughs. Drug research, weather forecasting, scientific discoveries, robotics, and artificial intelligence, which we'll have an episode the next time that we do this on that.
This thing's coming from AI.
Yeah. I mean, robotics, that's going to help. Like these humanoid robots, have you seen those?
Yeah. And these are just like bottom of the line, right? They're not even that innovative with this one. I mean, I guess they pretty are, but it's going to go in leaps and bounds.
I love the one that you had them walking around in the wilderness and they step on a rock and they just fall. Wait, they're on their back. There's no way they can get up.
Wait till they start putting them in combat uses and stuff, right? That's what's happening in the Ukraine right now.
Right? The Ukraine has no more people to put into combat.
No, but it's not even about the people. It's about the opportunity, right? So there's opportunity for them to test new weapons. Right? When do these weapons developers really get an opportunity to test them in real warfare? In war.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff is happening in the Ukraine.
Right I would shit my pants.
Warfare.
Yeah, I would shit my pants if I were out there, doing my thing, looking for targets, and then all of a sudden I come across a robot with a gun. It's like RoboCop, but it's that terrified me when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
He met that bigger robot and was like, oh shit, that'd be me.
That'd be all of us.
Yeah. Kind of be like, bring it.
Yeah. I'd be hiding.
I'm a brave man.
All right, so you talked about the upside,
right?
Which is limited, right? I mean, the AI benefits can help. We'll see how that works out.
I think. Sorry to interrupt you. I think you should have done the upside. I'm great at being pessimistic.
True.
Yeah. So
I don't really see that huge upside in data centers. It's
Yeah.
going to facilitate technology, but it's going to take away a lot of jobs. Right?
Yeah.
When you talk about AI and you talk about that stuff and how that's going to change the future.
Right.
Like so all of a sudden, what everyone's going to have income or something like that. You think like all the people that control all these things, you're like, yeah, let's just give food away for free, give housing away for free, all that. It's not going to change anything. It's going to make the rich more rich.
Well, it's a wealth transfer, just like COVID was.
Yeah.
I mean, So I just said that, but anyway, that's another conversation for another
That upper
time.
1% is just going to get bigger.
Oh yeah, the rich get richer.
Talk to me, Mr. Pessimistic. Talk to me about the downside of data centers.
Do you want to do this?
No, you go ahead.
All
man.
right. Well, there's the electricity demand. This is probably the biggest issue because data centers require enormous amounts of electricity, and AI data centers require even more because they run powerful computer chips continuously, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we talked about that, right? 800,000 homes.
yeah,
Right. That's a significant $72 million a month.
yeah, no, it's insane, really, and it's like the concerns are like, can the electrical grid handle the demand? We kind of touched on that earlier. Will new power plants be needed? And we already touched on that.
100%.
Yeah. You okay?
Oh, yeah.
And will customers pay higher electricity costs? And it's already happening. So
No, consumers.
yeah, consumers, yes, consumers, and it's already happening. So in the States and Virginia and stuff like that, people are already paying for it. And when it comes right down to it, if you need water or the data center needs water,
Yeah.
who do you think is going to get it? The data center is
Yeah.
going to get the water. It's going to get the electricity. So you're going to see rolling brownouts. You're going to see lack of water, lack of resources.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us are just going to sit there and take it unless there's like some kind of uprising, which I would hope would happen if it came right down to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I think you touched on it a second ago about water usage, right? So that's how they cool these things.
Yeah.
With water, right? So when you talk about an AI level data center, right? The big boys, right? They hundreds of thousands of servers. That's going to use up to 5 million gallons of water a day.
Whew.
Right? 1.8 billion gallons a year. Right? So it's equivalent, like it's ridiculous. It's the equivalent of 50,000 homes.
Yeah, that's simply retarded.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
So they use open loop evaporative systems, right? And then really, basically what happens is the water gets evaporated, right? So they cool the water, because it's hot, it evaporates the water. The water's lost. It goes back into this, they're going to claim it's going to go back into the ecosystem. It's not going to fully go back into these. There's going to be massive amounts of water lost.
So if that's being evaporated, what's that going to do to the climate?
I think you got to have a lot of data centers to make it rain more.
Yeah, making it rain, but not in the good way.
Right, but the other thing too is that these guys are pulling often directly from municipal water systems. So to your point, it's going to suck the water from the farmers, from the homes, right? So where does the priority? Where is this going to happen?
Well,
right? Because so it just goes to show that like civilization is always near rivers, right? It's better off near water, better near the grid, right? So data centers have the same necessity.
Even way back when irrigation became a thing for the farmers, like people were upset by that too. But I mean, that's how you get the crops grown and everything like that. Yeah. And once again, crops need water, sunlight, everything like that. And it's going to be just a big old shit show, I think.
We'll see. They're going to come up with some creative solutions, right?
Yeah.
And I think, there's obviously the environmental impact, right? Energy consumption, carbon emissions. I don't know how much carbon, it's all electrical. So I guess power generation, right? So to generate the power, depending on how they're creating the power. If they're doing with nuclear power, somewhat safe, I guess, or less.
Well,
somewhat less carbon, or definitely less carbon emissions, right? But coal power, then you're going to have massive carbon emissions.
But they also have backup generators, and those will run
on gasoline, I guess. Yeah, it could be if the grid goes down, right?
Yeah,
and then loss of land, right?
Yep. Well, you have these ones that are like acres and acres, hundreds of acres in the States. I don't think we have anything like that in Canada just yet, but I mean, there's going to be a bunch more created here shortly, according to my sources.
Sources?
Yeah.
TikTok?
Yeah. No, I think you know them.
I do?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
If I know them, then it can't be good.
Yeah, you'll figure it out here sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot more pushback eventually.
Yeah.
I think. I'm predicting that. So.
Yeah. Right. And then there's the old jobs debate, which really is, to your point, they're going to be temporary jobs to build them. They'll have robots in there, in no time to figure it out, so they don't have to pay a person. It's just the rich getting richer, right?
Yeah.
The Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerbergs of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
eliminating human jobs, not doing anything to benefit anyone but themselves, right?
Yeah, it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah. And I think you see places calling for data center moratoriums, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think you got the notes. So let's hear what you got to say about that.
So what is a data center moratorium? A moratorium is basically a temporary pause. Governments may stop approving new data centers while they study electricity demand, water usage, environmental effects, and like community impact. Basically, governments are saying let's slow down and understand the consequences before we build thousands more, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's responsible and it's a new thing. It's like the railroads. I think I might have mentioned this maybe a couple episodes ago about changing technologies and whatnot, but the railroads, that changed everything. The Industrial Revolution, that changed everything. This is kind of like something along those lines where it just changed everything so fast, but for the better. And this one is going to come right in and put us all on universal basic income. And we all stay home and get fat and high.
Yeah, sure.
And drunk.
That's your plan?
That's our plan.
Drunkenness. You do that already.
Yeah, without the data centers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Don't take my beer away, damn it.
Yeah. And so you talk about the reason why some places are pushing back, right? So it's affecting their power bill, their grids are going to get impacted, their water is going to, their basic infrastructure required for basic necessities is getting impacted.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So they're pushing back on these things, which I think makes sense. So they're going to have to figure out better and more creative solutions to cool these things and where to put them. But then, we'll talk about this more in our next segment about AI. There needs to be a moratorium on AI.
Oh, easily, yeah.
If it's not too late, it could very, very well be.
Yeah, we might be the dinosaurs here,
Yep.
They'll find our bones underground and be like, oh, what was this?
If the robots take over, they're not looking for our bones.
But yeah, that's right. Robots don't have that kind of curiosity.
No, they'll know how they got there.
Yeah, it was because of us.
Yeah.
But also, Doug Ford just recently implemented, talking about moratoriums. He's just, I think he passed something, some kind of, but anyway, we'll show it in this clip right here, and you guys can draw your own conclusions from that. It was a big announcement that was just, I think, Monday.
Doug Ford being the Premier of Ontario.
Yes, he's the Premier of Ontario. Yeah, that's right.
Elected.
Depending on where you're watching this from, you would know this.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have listeners and watchers all around the world. So.
Provincial leader.
Is our provincial leader.
Concerns over potential environmental impacts of AI data centers have some municipalities pressing pause or moving to ban the facilities altogether.
I find it, I guess, hypocritical. You can't say I don't want it in my backyard, but by the way, we're going to use all that power and all the information and the data centers to run my community.
Ford taking a jab at those against the facilities, calling them misinformed.
Do your due diligence, do your research. Data centers have been around for decades.
As part of the proposed policy, data centers will be required to bear the full cost of the electricity they use.
So no costs are passed on to the hardworking Ontario families. Ontario will not offer financial incentives to attract investments.
With more than 100 data centers across the province and even more on the way, Ford emphasized his government's plans to prioritize projects that would see Canadian data stored in Canada and not south of the border.
Ontario has a choice. We can build the economy of the future and ensure Canadians' data remains in Canada and out of President Trump's hands, or we can get left behind and risk Canadians' data being sent down to the U.S., where only President Trump, God knows what he will do with it. I don't trust that guy as far as I can throw him.
Members of the public have the next 30 days to give their input on the province's playbook. The final version will be released in tandem with Ontario's AI industrial strategy this fall. Alexandra Hullick, CTV News, Guelph.
You heard it here first on the X-ers podcast. Doug Ford.
Doug Ford.
Piece of shit. Sorry. Oh, man. Sorry. Something in my throat.
Yeah. That happens a lot when you talk about politics.
Yeah.
Nice.
At least
Been a good chat.
Yeah, at least let me put on some lipstick so I look pretty when I get fucked.
I'm sure they'd let you.
Yeah.
You're going to take it. They'll let you.
All right, so how are we going to round this out?
I don't know. I mean, I think everyone's going to have be on the lookout for data centers in the area. Everyone's going to have an opinion and understand, look to understand the impacts to your area and to your daily life.
Because I think there's going to be exponential growth, especially in Canada, like all around the world, obviously. But the U.S. there's China. They're the leaders in all this. I didn't even look up the numbers for China, because that's kind of like
It may not even be published.
no, they might not, and it might be like falsified too. We don't know. And then Canada, we're bound to take this and run with it eventually. Especially if these data centers are built, they could probably use these little nuclear things that Mark Carney said that people were going to have in their own neighborhoods. You know, those little nuclear things that.
No.
Oh, it's going to be like a nuclear reactor right in your neighborhood.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's already a go. Like they've approved it and everything. I don't even know the details on it. But if the data centers in Canada, like you said, works around on nuclear power,
Yeah.
like we're more open to that than the U.S., right? So, but yeah,
Nice.
I think that could go hand in hand, and you know, you might not have to rob Peter to pay Paul.
That's true.
But they still will. They still will.
That's
Especially if you vote Liberal.
Yes.
I
So let me cut this off, otherwise you'll keep talking.
will, yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ken.
And I'm Swarty. Oh, hey, check us out on Instagram and TikTok, and also send us an email. Tell us what you think. Tell us to go F our hats. The X-ers podcast at gmail.com, right here across the bottom. And until next time,
Good for us.
yeah, elbow deep.